We now return to Experts on Call on News Talk Radio 580 CFRA.
Nothing changes the look of your home and increases its value than a brand new custom kitchen. And where do you go for that? MR Kitchens, in Vars, Enterprise Street, just off Rockdale, and in Orleans, recently expanded to Orleans. Guy, the president, is with us. How many people in the operation in the showroom that we were at in Vars?
Overall in the company, we're about 60 people, 8 designers. So we have 4 designers in Vars.
8 designers. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4 new designers. Well, they're not new, but they've been with us for a while. But
okay, good stuff.
So 4 designers in Orleans.
And Colleen, you're one of those designers.
Yes, I am.
Let's talk about your team and the different people, like the quality control, the installers. It's a big operation, but it's also a kind of a family operation that gets the job done and is passionate about what they do, and that's why you've been around for 27 years at MR Kitchens.
You must be doing something right.
Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about those people.
Yeah, so we have, as Guy said, 8 fantastic designers. We all have talent in many different styles. But we, obviously have each our own fortes and things that we like to work on. So if someone calls in and the customer knows what style they like in specific, we can set them up with, the designer that would best suit them. And our production staff is fantastic. The quality control is out of sight.
Sure, I'm sure that can be can sometimes be a little bit of a problem when they get picky with you, right? Yeah.
Or we get picky with them.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. It's all good for the client, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you can have the best cabinets in the world, and if they're not installed right, it's not going to look good. And
Guy, that's what I hear from people who have had not only kitchens done, but any kind of renovations in their house, and they've gone to the big box store, and whether, even window coverings, the installation hasn't lived up to what it was supposed to be, and it's been a horror show.
That's right. Well, installation is one of the most important things about the process, and we train our installers. They're like the employees. They're not sub-trades, and it shows in the quality. So if they have to spend an extra hour to make it right, they will. And we also, like the service department, it works. So we have a person on staff that will take your calls, all day long. That's what they do. They take your calls and your emails regarding service. And we have people on staff that will go and do that service. So it's all after service. It's very important for our clients.
MR Kitchens, helping design, manufacture, and install with no middleman. They buy direct from the manufacturer. That gives them a chance to pass those savings on to you. And I think everybody would love a new kitchen. Why not? Anything new to spice up, as you say, the hub of your home, Colleen. And most people will say, well, I can't afford it. But we've talked about that, how, when you deal with MR Kitchens, you're dealing directly with the manufacturer, so it is quite a bit cheaper than the box store. And the other thing is, how do you really know when you need a new kitchen? How do you know your cupboards are updated? Is it when the neighbors come over and insult you that you kind of have to do something about it, or what? Sometimes.
Sometimes it's, not only aesthetics, but the function. We all have busy lifestyles these days, and, we're packing lunches in the morning, trying to get the kids off to school, and you want things organized and easy to grab quickly, and there's a lot of accessibility and organizational accessories that you can add to your kitchen today that make it fantastic.
Lisa, cabinets are very important for me. Years ago, I was into what's the country look when you have the pine and even the knots are in the pine doors. Is there a name for that? Is that just country style?
Yeah, the style would be classified, I guess, as more country or traditional, but the knotty pine, that look.
That was in the 80s. Now I could never do that again. What's hot right now? What are people putting in?
I think right now everyone has still their personal tastes. There's still the classic kitchen that is always going to be in style. A lot of trends are going a little bit more contemporary. We're going away from the colors that we've seen for many, many years, like the chocolate browns. We're going more into the gray tones. But I think that a classic traditional kitchen is still always going to be popular, but there is a very big wave of contemporary demand for contemporary kitchens as well, especially with the condos that we see going up. A lot of those are a bit more modern, more contemporary, but there's still a lot of homes that we're going to be putting traditional classic kitchens into.
And I hear that all the time from my traditional friends. No, I don't want anything modern. No, got to be traditional, but it's got to still look fresh and new. And that there's a challenge there, right, Colleen?
Yeah. Ottawa, in general, I find it's very conservative. They're very classic, very contemporary styles is the average, more common, more popular style for sure.
And Guy, you deal a little bit with Habitat for Humanity with your product.
Yes, sometimes our clients wonder what to do with their old cabinets. Sometimes they install them in the basement or in the garage for other uses. But if they want to get rid of them before we throw them in the garbage, we always offer them to Habitat to Humanity.
Giving back to the community is what it's all about. That's what makes a good business. And obviously, you've been around for 27 years doing the right things. MR Kitchens in Vars and also where you are, Lisa, in Orleans. Whereabouts?
It's on St. Joseph Boulevard in Orleans. It's a new showroom that's just recently opened. Our first weekend will be next Saturday. And I'm not sure the exact address.
2131.
2131 St. Joseph Boulevard.
Yeah. Now, I know, Guy, we don't like to talk about price a lot because it's so different and everybody's situation is unique. But if we wanted to know the standard price per linear foot, ballpark.
I don't believe in such a thing because, like I say, in the same square footage, in the same space, you can create, a $5,000 kitchen or a $60,000 kitchen. So it depends what you put in.
Knotty pine or cherry.
Yeah. And again, that's your philosophy as opposed to the box store, which will definitely give you a price. And who knows,
Well, people have a tendency to believe that it's going to be cheaper in the box store, and they don't even try to get a price from a custom manufacturer. And when they do, and they compare apples with apples, it's they get surprised because obviously the box stores they have major retail rent to pay for, and obviously like none of the box stores manufacture themselves, so they have to purchase from companies like us,
like you. There you go.
And we make a profit on them, and eventually they sell to the customer.
Yeah. And I know customer service is big with MR Kitchens, and you're very involved in the installation process. So what would you say to a prospective customer who says to you, "But Guy, can I get my neighbor's brother-in-law to come over to install it for me?"
Well, like I said before, the installation is a major thing. It's like even if we make beautiful cabinets, if they're not properly installed, they're gonna look bad.
Will you notice if they're crooked? You can notice that, right?
Of course, it's gonna look like it came out of a box and thrown on the wall.
Not centered, maybe one area too low, too high.
Yeah, the doors don't close properly. They don't line up.
And those we talked about door handles a little bit when I met with you last week, and you can buy the cheap $1.50 ones, Colleen, or get the better ones,
diamond
right?
studs if you want.
Okay, but that's important, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the hinges, but the handles are very important too, right?
No, it's the jewelry of the cabinetry.
The jewelry of the cabinetries. There's so much more to consider. So that's what we're talking about here today on CFR's Experts on Call. If you want it, your kitchen, do we use the name makeover? Or a reno? What do we refer to it as more?
Yeah, kitchen reno.
Kitchen reno?
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically a reno, but it's a brand new kitchen.
That's right.
Pretty much, right? You're not just fixing it, you're creating a whole new look, right, Colleen?
That's right.
And that's what you'll see. And you can see a lot when you go to the showroom, too.
Yes, we have about 6-7 kitchens in every showroom, and over 225 sample doors and different doors, and the combinations are endless. If we would have to have one of each door, we would need 10,000 doors probably.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like the burgers.
Yeah, exactly. Just before we go to the 3:30 news break, Colleen, I wanted to ask you about finding information on the internet to do kitchen things, but no, it's not.
It's like everything, as you know now. To find information on the internet, you have a bump somewhere and you start Googling, and it's pretty terrifying. And sometimes a lot of the information is not accurate. So it's the same in the kitchen world. You want to talk to an expert or a professional the same as you would for your car or for a medical problem.
Exactly. And Lisa, just before we go to the news at 3:30, tell me about the prospective customer who comes to see you in Orleans and wants to redo the whole kitchen. What do you start with? Is there a starting point?
There is a starting point. I mean, there's a lot of questions that we ask off the top, and the most important is like what their expectation is. Are they thinking of redoing the entire kitchen? Like, is it the style is always something we touch on, and of course we've mentioned many times the budget. But
I would think budget might be the last thing that you would, I mean, the customer's worried about it, but probably not the first thing they should worry about, right?
It may not be the first thing, but it will affect how we design their kitchen.
But not to sacrifice quality for budget.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not.
And that's a good philosophy. Yeah. Lots more to talk about. In fact, we're only halfway through with the folks from MR Kitchens, your CFRA expert on call. We're back right after the 3:30 news. Next.
580 CFRA's Experts on Call returns in a moment.